Good morning, welcome, pranam, welcome to the live session and another reason to answer our questions. Another question, another inquiry about the self. And let us begin. So, today our topic is why you should, you know, why you want a successful life and what it should like, what it means to you, why you want to impress everybody around. So, I'm not going to tell you how your life should look, I'm not going to tell you what you should do, but I want you to inquire this about yourself. You know, are you actually trying to impress people, or are you trying to impress an idea of a successful life? Since we are born, we are told, study, get good grades, good marks, and then get a good job, then have children, have so this has been applied and told to all of us that this is what a successful life looks like. So we all have been running after this idea of being successful. So now, have you ever asked, or have you ever thought that this is not what I want? This is not exactly my way of successful. You know how a good mother should be, how a good businessman should be, and how a wealthy person should look like, even how a spiritual person should look like. So who created these definitions for us? Who created? Who decided what looks like success? Who decided this? Probably, we have just assumed this. We have just assumed that, and we are trying decades to understand this point, that people have everything, yet they feel so empty within. They have everything they want because the idea of the life has been borrowed. The idea of the life has been, borrowed from the people, from the community, from the society. Now there is an invisible audience. How? There's something very fascinating about the human psychology. We all walk like as if so many people are looking at us. So we buy different big bungalows, big cars, big business. We behave like as if thousands of people, are looking at us, and we are trying to impress. Now, this is the invisible. Whom are you trying to impress? Whom is it? And who is there in your audience? Your parents, your society, your friends? Who is there? Or your followers? Or a version of you which is desperately, wanting that I want to prove something. Now this is very, very dangerous comparison. People, we are having a very simple and a happy life, but the moment we start comparing it with somebody else, this is where it changes again. You're very happy with your family. Normal person likes to be, have fun, spend time with your family, spend holidays with your family, and yeah, you're doing good. But the moment you start looking at something else, and you see, oh, this is very good, this is very fascinating. This is the kind of a mind which gives you an illusion of something is better. So what happens is we start feeling dissatisfied within. Somebody has more followers, so I feel dissatisfied. Somebody has more reach, so I feel my this thing insignificant. Very important lesson to learn from the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna never said, Arjun, become like Bhishma, become like Drona. No, he said, follow what you are, understand what you are, understand your own nature, work according to own nature, and bring out that potential in you. Do not compare yourself with them. He never taught Arjun to compare. He taught him to be the best version of himself. So that is where the entire story lies, and this is where we lose ourselves. We lose ourselves in the comparison that one day, I will have this luxury life. So in that one day, the present moment becomes like you are ditching yourself, that you are somewhere unsatisfied. And the more you start comparing with that, the more you start feeling unsatisfied. So don't take me wrong. I am not telling you are not going to be successful, or you should not have big bungalows, or you should not have. But you must have a very, very clear idea of why you should have it. you know are you choosing that for something to prove to somebody, or are you choosing for the self? There is a huge difference. One is there where you are in a state of abundance, where you don't have to impress, you need it because you need it, it's a necessity of life. So because you are enjoying it. But the other way, if you are doing it because you want to impress people, your first thought is, what is people going to think? How are people going to look at me? Now, this is where the entire game changes. And this is where the journey from the vision turns into insecurity. So, understand the point very, very clearly. Why do you need something, or why do you want to, become something else than what you are today? Again, Krishna never said any of us. He always says, do your dharma. And your dharma is to become the best version, not by influenced by the world or what the other people are saying. We are mostly very scared, when we learn to say a no. We are very scared. No, this person will get angry, my relationship will destroy. In that point, we become the most destructive to the self. Most destructive. So the comparison game is very bad. Understand? Are you comparing your life through something? Why you want to be visible? Is it that you want to be visible because you feel good about it? You feel, you are having a path, you are having a direction. You want that because it supports your dreams. But if you are doing that only just to show off, for the validation from the world, you are deeply into that insecurity. I remember once, when I started my career with fashion designing. Okay, so when I always wanted to do a ramp walk or something like this, to be in a glamour world. But my father always used to tell me, don't run after glamour, don't run. But at that age, I was only 19, 20, and all that stuff of a being younger age, I really felt that, he's denying me something I really want to do. I want to be seen, I want to wear good clothes. But today I realize there's a huge difference in what I wanted then and what I want now. Now I want, if I walk the stage, it is on purpose. It is not to have anything from the where I feel insecure about, or I need some validation about. Now if I rise on the stage, I know I have a purpose to give, to share value, to add value to people's life. Now this is where the huge difference has come in me. So this is the internal transformation. Earlier it was only about the validation. How do I look? How are my clothes, and how's that stuff? Exactly. After so many years, I understood what he actually meant. He always told me, Parul, live a life of purpose. You should have a goal in your life. But in your teens, what goal do you have? You should have a good boyfriend, you should have, a good life, you are having fun. That is the idea. But that is seriously a big illusion of the mind. We call it fantasy. So we live with that fantasy world a lot. So now I realize that it was actually, it was not a dream, it was a fantasy, full of insecurities, full of lust, full of, to be shown, to be seen, but all for all wrong reasons. So this is where you need to understand that, what are your abilities, what is your responsibility. So dharma is not your social image you have to maintain. Dharma is very simple, very simple. And it is all about living, according to the life you truly want to live. That is your dharma. So I'm not, never shrink yourself for something. But do not be swayed away by your vasanas. Don't be swayed away by the outside world of glamour, because these days we can say the demons are invisible, but that demon is what is at times ruling you, when it is forcing you to do something which you don't want to do. That is the demon energy within you. Or this is where, when you understand your dharma, when you understand your life, when you understand yourself, you stand strong in your own way, and that is what all we need. So when you then ask, now today, you must do a simple exercise. Ask yourself, uh, what should I spend time which is more fruitful to me? What is there which I really want to express in the world? What are my gifts? What am I creating as value to people? Maybe there is a lot that you need to discover on your own. Somebody wants to become a good poet, a good writer. We are always saying, what kind of what are you going to do? Who's going to listen? Why not? Even say, there are so many wonderful poets, and we are reading their literature, we are reading their poetry, we are doing that. So it is not that our life is full of culture, of grandeur, of dance, of music, and elaboration of the self. It's all the creative arts, you should have it. So again, the understanding is, today I'll give you a very simple exercise to do. Write down what is your idea of success in the terms of money, in the terms of business, family, health, luxury, contribution. Then what will I, why do I want this? Most important, I want everything, but why? What is the reason behind I want? So the first answer, if don't accept the first answer, go within why. So now suppose I say I want a big house. Ask yourself, why do I want? Because it gives me comfort. Again, go deeper. Then what? Why? Then then it will come, I want security. Then again, because I want to feel successful. Go deeper. Go deeper in your asking. In the end, you will realize the real why behind it. You will actually come to know the real why you want something. Why you want? Are you feeling insecure within, or are you feeling really ready to come up for that? So your life is not a presentation. Remember, your life is not a presentation, and you have to make it meaningful to you. You have to make it. Maybe your version of wealth is actually having lavish holidays. It is having traveling around the world, maybe just raising a family. Maybe there is no fixed notion about what you should have or what you do not have. There is no fixed notion about it. So don't expand your life according to somebody else's vision. Create your own vision. Create your own why I want this to be seen. Why is it on purpose, or is it something to just to impress people? So that is all for today. I hope you understand. You have a good question, and this is where Bhagavad Gita is always telling you, don't live a small life, don't settle for less. But do not, but become conscious towards your life. Do not just scramble your life like just because feeding somebody other's expectations. Understand what you need. In my childhood, not in my childhood exactly, when I was in final years of my college, I wanted to learn designing, and my father wanted me to be a banker. But believe me, if I would have followed, it would have been a disaster, because I am a very creative person, and I enjoy spreading the words of creativity around. So if I would have been in that number game, it would have been a total disaster. So maybe I had to be a rebel. I had to fight with my father. No, I want this. So I want this, and I am thankful that I listened in that moment about, and I took a stand for myself, that yes, this is what I want. And that is why I think all this journey now makes a sense to me, that thank God I chose myself. Thank God I used my own capabilities to, exhaust my vasanas. I was so passionate about, arts and crafts and everything. So I worked in a school, and I schooled at a time in 8 years. A point came, I really felt now this chapter is closed in my life. Now this is how your vasanas get exhausted. When it started telling me now there is something different in you, now there is something different line opening for you, this came literally like a closure. So that is why Krishna is always saying exhaust your mental vasanas. Arjun was asked, fight this war because you are not a sadhu. Don't listen to anybody else but listen to yourself. Don't compare your life with any of your brothers or gurus or teachers. Work on your dharma. Work to become the best version of what you can share, what you bring, what you give, what you do. So that is what I am teaching you. What exactly I have done in my life has been through the scriptures, and I have seen an immense transformation in me. So that is why I bring you all every week this question to ask yourself, to actually knock your brains, to question yourself that exactly what am I looking for? What is the direction of my life? Why am I unhappy in my life? Why things are not going my way? What is there that I'm missing in my life? Ask good questions. When you ask good questions, only then the wisdom, you give your mind a good task to work for you. And that is where the real answers start coming up. So don't wait for something else to appear. Ask, sit down and write why I want this, why I want to be successful, or why I want to impress people, or I am really into an insecurity, or is this a purpose? So, see you next Sunday with another question. And if you have any questions, you are looking for answers where you feel like Gita can help you. Of course, Gita has all the answers, Bhagavad Gita has all the answers. I am myself the living truth of living this life through the scriptures. So I can vouch that if you put me a question of if where you feel stuck and you want to know that why, I'll make you open your mind in your own self, because Krishna is within you, your soul is your teacher, and let us become Arjun to find the right person and the right question and live a wonderful life. Have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so much for joining. See you next Sunday. Namaste.